Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. We are talking about ancient Egypt this week.
We certainly are.
And it's episode 53.
Oh, Talata Hawatin?
Interesting. Anyway, stick around if you want to hear more. Hello then, Dad.
Hello.
You okay?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. You okay?
Yes, my name's Connor.
Oh, hello, Connor. Yes, my name's David. Yes.
Nice to meet you, David.
Thank you very much. Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
If that's okay, I'll call you Dad, though.
Yeah, that's fine. You can call me Dad. Yeah, I'll still call you Connor if that's all right.
Actually, can you call me Martin?
Martin. Okay, Martin.
Actually, Connor. Back to Connor, please.
No, I'm going to call you Martin
right.
for the rest of the thing. So, Martin, how's your car? You got a new car?
Yes, red.
Yeah?
Yeah, shiny.
Yeah.
It goes...
You enjoying it?
Yeah, a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a lot of fun. It got quite a bit of kick to it.
Good.
Not spiciness, although you could call the ride spicy.
Oh, dear. Classic Martin.
But it's a nice car.
Yeah.
Put it on eco, though, which is a bit more boring because it doesn't go quite as fast. How's your car?
Oh, it's as sporty can be.
It's not a sports car, though, is it?
It's fantastic. No, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying... I hope my old car aren't... Well, I very much doubt if my old cars are listening. But it's... Because I still
doubt,
feel quite
but not
guilty.
Impossible.
No, I still feel really guilty about it. It was like having a pet put down. It really felt like that. It felt like...
We did have that
it
car
was
quite a
looking
long
at me in the
time.
morning saying, where are you going? And it's, it's gone now. Hey, I did.
See,
have
whereas
it a long
my
time.
car,
Yeah.
I didn't get it put down, but it was caught up in a fatal accident.
Yes, lovely. Anyway,
dying pets. On to something else.
Yes, ancient Egypt.
Talking about, we could have segued that so well. Talking about dying and maybe my car being brought back to life or whatever. Maybe the pharaohs and the mummies.
The mummies, mummify your car. No, I don't even think that would have worked. I saw your car. It was very much gone. Right. So,
anyway.
ancient Egypt. We're
talking about ancient Egypt.
We are talking about ancient Egypt.
Interesting.
Let's face it, we don't know a lot about it. What we do know about it, I've probably read up. Initially, I knew or I was aware of the
this sentence has been going for a long time.
Hasn't it?
That was a classic. That was a classic from early podcasts where you just never quite finish your sentence.
I forget what I'm talking about halfway through. No, obviously there's the pyramids, there's the pharaohs, there's the Nile and such. And I've got to be honest, I don't think we'll be going much deeper than any of that. But I do.
How deep is the Nile?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Shallow in some parts and deeper in others, I'd imagine. Especially around the banks. No, but I've seen a picture on a map. The pyramids. I want to talk about the pyramids, right? It's a place I'd love to go, Egypt.
Can I just check? We are talking about the Egyptian pyramids, not the one like in Vegas or something like that.
No, I'm talking about the Egyptian pyramids.
Are there also some in Mexico?
Yeah, they are. I mean, all sort of
Inca temples in Mexico,
ancient civilizations like the Aztecs or the Incas or the Egyptians or others.
I thought you were going to stop at Egyptians,
No.
and then you went and I thought you were going to come up with another one.
Or
and I was interested to what it was going to be.
It seems to be a common theme or something quite similar. I think I was reading somewhere that there was it might have been an Inca temple, and basically for years and years and years, people were only aware of it being the top part of that pyramid. When they actually cut away the vegetation, it
vegetation.
was enormous.
Like jungle.
Yeah. Oh, what jungle? Yeah, jungle vegetation.
Jungle.
Yeah.
I was just assuming sand. Like you mean it was buried?
It was buried, and people weren't aware. Obviously, when it was first built, they'd have been aware. But for many years, it was lost. And when they discovered it again, there's a lot more of it.
Someone building it and going, Oh, it just keeps on going, this piece of wood.
It just goes on forever.
So,
talking about going on forever, like this conversation. So the pyramids have always fascinated me, being an ancient wonder of the world. I've been interested in that for a long while. It's, looking at, obviously lots of them don't exist anymore, but the pyramids of Giza are ones that are still around.
Danny Dyer's pyramids
of Giza, right?
Yeah.
But why a pyramid?
I have a question really quick before we go on to why. When I was growing up, I always assumed there was like 5. Like they're talking about the pyramids, and I go,
Yes.
it's probably going to be 5, maybe 10 at most.
Right.
It kind of blows my mind to think about how many there were.
Well, I think I read there's about approximately 118.
See, I read approximately 130, but
all right, well,
why don't we meet in the middle
yeah,
and say
something in the middle.
126.
Yeah, so there are many,
maybe.
and I guess the ones that people are familiar with, the ones that are always talked about, are the larger pyramids, the Great Pyramids, and that's why I think people, even myself, thought there was a handful of pyramids, not that there was that many. I imagine some of those 118 don't look much like what we feel pyramids should look like. They're probably a lot smaller.
Do you reckon there's like some that are like a pyramid,
like a Toblerone?
Like to put the size of a Toblerone to put like a dung beetle that passed away in, and they still class it as one of the pyramids.
Yes, that's definitely what happened.
Definitely.
Yeah. So the Great Pyramid, right, and this is the one,
best
obviously.
One.
The fantastic pyramid, 52-degree angle to it.
About that.
And he's at the moment putting his arm in a 52-degree angle to help visualise what that means. Yes. So basically, very steep.
Does this help you visualise, listener?
I think people used to climb, but they had a lot of fatalities where people fall off it. So people were banned, although I think people still try and climb them.
Well, it just looks like a big bit of stairs, doesn't it?
480 feet. Right? That is tall.
That is quite tall, isn't it?
That's tall.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
No, you're not.
So it's a number of me. 2.5 ton blocks.
A number of you.
Yeah, because I can't work that out. 2.5 ton blocks. Now it's mind blowing, all of these figures, because it's like a mausoleum. Oh God, I'm going to do it again.
A what?
A tomb, but I'm stumbling over my words at the moment. But it's a
I can't
tomb.
work out what you're trying to say.
Mausoleum. I can't even say it. Anyway,
mausoleum.
It's a tomb. Yeah, it's a tomb, right? So
museum?
basically, no. It's a tomb. So there's a lot of chambers within these pyramids, and there's certainly the bigger ones. It's huge. They talked about the biggest one, 250 million man hours. 23 years to put it together. That seems madness. That seems absolutely incredible as a tomb. Obviously,
you got to think that this must have been like, sorry to interrupt, but this must have been like the Pharaoh comes into power and they've gone, right, I've got to think ahead. Can you start? It's like someone going, can you start digging my grave? Can you start building my...
Well, I don't think they had... Well, I don't know. It was quite like that. They didn't have the same fear of death. I felt they had such belief in their body, and they had a different idea. I mean, their brains, they weren't... when you think about the mummification sort of process, they didn't believe that their brains were particularly an important part of that. It was more about their soul. It was more about that being transferred.
Little did they know.
And it was quite grotesque, the mummifying sort of process.
Yeah.
Not
like how they'd get the organs out. And
yes,
stuff like that.
Exactly. So
there's an interesting thing that I kind of learned, and I'm going to say it now, and I don't know how accurate I'm going to be.
No, you just say it, Martin, and we'll work out how accurate it's going to be.
Also known as Connor. So with there was the reason like behind some of the mummifications was to do with Ka, which was a term essentially the fact that they had a twin, I believe. Like they believed they had a twin inside them,
Right.
living inside them.
Yeah.
That, like, once they die, it lives inside them. So once you die, it's got nowhere to live.
Right.
But the mummification and preserving of someone meant that they could it gave that twin somewhere to live again.
Right. Okay.
And also, did you know not all mummies are parents?
What?
Mummification. These mummies, some of them were dads.
Daddies.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we know why they called them mummies?
Is this a rhetorical question?
Yes.
Like, as in, do I know?
Yeah.
Or are you about to tell me?
I mean, the process is mummification. So I imagine that is not related to...
I'm confused. Do you actually know the answer?
No, I don't know the
answer.
answer.
Right, okay.
Right, but...
Should we make up an answer?
But obviously, so I imagine the process is called mummification. Like we have to do with everything, we shorten that and make it something, so we call them the mummies, right? But I don't suppose that has anything to do with it. Martin?
I've put my hand up. I know why they call it mummification now.
Why?
Because I've just learned it off the top of my head. I'm not making it up as I go along.
Just looked at it.
No, I've not looked it up. I've not looked it up. This is I just suddenly remembered that it's called mummification because mums look after you and they hug.
Yeah.
And they mummify you. They hug you a lot and keep you safe. So the mummification.
You.
So that's what the mummification.
I'm really pleased
Did you think that sounded accurate?
No, I don't.
We said we'll make up an answer.
No, I'm trying to be as accurate as possible.
Are we? Oh,
yeah.
I wish you told me beforehand.
They used to bury. That's the other thing as well. The reason these places, and we'll go into the second part of this, the reason these tombs got raided was they were buried with so much wealth. They got so much
treasure,
gold,
didn't they?
so much ivory, so much everything they could possibly think of.
And their servants.
Yes, rather unfortunately, if you were a servant of one of the pharaohs. And you walked in to give him his breakfast, and he falls into his Cocoa Pops.
Because they had
straight away, you think, no, because that probably means you're going to be put in that tomb with him.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. I mean, that's fairly dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it is a bit.
I mean, I hope they get paid a lot, and I bet you they didn't get paid a lot to do it.
Pyramids are great, though, aren't they?
Pyramids are great.
Yeah.
but the fact that the wealth. I mean, I guess the pharaohs themselves, they would dress them in. I mean, all right, the mummification, everything else, but they would dress them in this garb. Certainly, and I'll come on to Tutankhamun, King Tut. Quite a lesser known sort of pharaoh at the time, or a lesser one, as in he wasn't one of the greats as far as the ancient history was concerned, but from our point of view, probably one of the most famous.
Yeah.
Because of everything that went with the legend that is Tutankhamun. But yeah, certainly different to the culture we have here. I think if...
there's less pyramids in the UK, isn't there?
Less pyramids, but if I was to feel a bit ropey and perhaps shuffle off my mortal coil, it doesn't mean that you've got to do that as well and everybody has to come with me,
No, because I'm not your servant.
Well, you should be.
Should I?
Yes, you should. Yes.
It's more like you're my servant, isn't it?
Yes, it probably is more like I'm your servant, but there you go.
Well, that's what happens when you have kids.
Two-minute debate.
Right, it's now time again for another 2-minute debate. It's the bit where we have a debate for 2 minutes.
Right.
And that's it.
Yes.
And you don't know about the debate, do you?
No, I don't, until you tell me.
Yep. So, we're going to have this debate. Would you like me to read it to you now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll read it. After we read it, we'll go into it.
Okay.
So, a new law has been put... I'm going to move slightly so I can speak into the mic a bit better. A new law has been put forward to Parliament, which you are the front-running campaign. A new law has been put forward to Parliament, which you are the front-running campaigner for. You're campaigning to improve our recycling initiative by making everything edible. You are obviously for, because you're for this campaign, and I'm against.
Right. Well, it's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, if you're just going to... everything that's, food, furniture, light furnishings, light bulbs, everything else, if you can make stuff out of stuff that you can eat, then it stops every other sort of wastage happening. You aren't going to have the rubbish tips. You aren't going to have things seeping up through the floor when young children are trying to play football and dead seagulls and severed heads and things are coming through the marshland and that.
I'm intrigued as to where these severed heads and how that's got anything to do with being dumped. But
basically, anything that's a landfill, you know what the sort of things that are in landfill, you won't have them anymore.
No, you won't have those. But what you will have is just a lot of things that just doesn't seem hygienic to eat. Like, for example, how long do you use a toilet before it then is done with and you need to eat it?
Well, there's got to be... I mean, what you have to do is put sweeteners and things like that in there, or cover it with something that's going to make it more palatable to people. But I think we really need to get over ourselves. We need to get over this sort of stigma around things that smell or look slightly gross or are slightly gross, that we can't consume them. Why can't we consume them? We're human beings. We're one of the most marvellous things in the world.
One of the big things with edible things is they often go out of date and they often go off. So is there not going to be a lot of furniture that's just eventually going to go either stale or...
But that's a myth.
Just go off.
All that's a myth. None of that actually exists. Everything's a myth about sell by dates and use by dates. So it's a government thing to try and make you buy more stuff.
I've seen mould. It exists.
Yes, but mould doesn't hurt you, does it? Eat the mould, eat the cheese, eat everything.
Not all mould hurts you, but some mould does hurt you.
Yeah, but this was because you're wrapped up in cotton wool, and if you ate more stuff, you'd have more resistance to the germs. So we touched on Tutankhamun or King Tut in the previous little bit.
You keep calling him King Tut, but I've not really heard that before.
No, that is a way of referring to him, yeah.
Oh, right,
to
okay.
his mates, yeah.
Yeah, to his mates.
And now you know, so you can, yeah.
So now am I his friend now?
You don't want... Well, in a way, you want to be his friend.
Yeah, you don't want to be against him.
You don't want to upset him, right? Because I tell you this, right? I've looked into this now, and I think it's quite well known.
Documentary?
Yeah. It's quite well known that the curse of the tomb of Tutankhamun, right? So basically, we talked about the fact that people were desperate to find them, not Egyptians particularly. We were talking about people from England or from Britain, from other places in the world who wanted to come there and discover something. Adventurers, people wanted to make a name for themselves, right?
It's discovering, but someone put it there, so
yeah,
someone might know about it.
So there was always this. There'd been tomb robbers, which obviously they knew they could sell. There was a lot of gold in these places and everything else. So but there was a guy Carter. And he was being funded by someone called Lord Carnarvon, and he was looking for. They wanted to discover something. They knew there was other tombs there in the area and the Valley of the Kings and such, and they were just desperate to put their name on something. Yeah,
someone wants. It's like you want to have your name against it.
So apparently, this Carter was looking. They were going to give up because they will keep looking. And then finally, he found something. They dug it up. They discovered doorways. Now, obviously, they weren't sure what was going to be in it. They got very excited about it. They have to do certain protocols about going into tombs and such, but I get the feeling from what I read that they didn't particularly follow that overnight. But he got this Lord Carnarvon out there.
If film and TV tells you anything, it's full of booby traps.
Well, exactly, and full of warnings as well. Most tombs have on them hieroglyphics which warn against going into that tomb. Now, it's a keep out sign. That's what it is. Yeah. But perhaps people should take it a little bit more seriously. So legend has it that although the Egyptian authorities were going to be there the next day, instead of leaving everything, not touching everything, not going further into the tomb, because I think they'd knocked a hole in so they could actually see, and they could see there was gold in there and everything. I think they spent the night in there, right?
As you do.
As you would do, right? But this is where it all started going wrong. All of the, they wanted to announce it to the press. They tried to do it sort of one paper, try exclusive story about the finding of these heroes that have discovered this, putting their name to it. And that.
Pay more, I guess.
This is in the 1920s as well. Yeah, and that pay more. But obviously the Egyptian authorities want things to be, kept as they are and undisturbed. They want to control it. But it was all getting a little bit out of control. It was all a bit of a circus anyway. But it was gradually turning these people against each other as well. And this is where they start talking about the curse. Now, Lord Carnarvon, who funded it, quite a rich man from England, he cut himself, right, on one of the objects.
He was there as well.
He was there. He came out. Once they'd established something was there, he flew out so that they could discover it all together. And I think I think it was his daughter was there as well with them when they actually smashed through the first proper
Was this
doors.
been a Doctor Who episode?
Sounds like it. I think it's been a very dramatized many times in this sort of way. But basically he cut himself, but he'd had a mosquito bite, and he cut himself near that mosquito bite. Now that mosquito bite got infected and he died, right? And the exact moment he died, all the lights went out in Cairo.
As in like a power cut?
As in like a power cut.
Were they gaslit at that point?
It was there was a lot of British there controlling a lot of what was going on anyway. Couldn't work out why all the lights had gone off. At the same time, back in England,
switch.
At the exact moment he died, apparently, allegedly, his dog howled and then dropped down dead.
The dog turned off the lights and electrocuted himself.
The dog was in England. The lights were in Cairo. They were in the Valley of the Kings.
I reckon what happened, yeah, I can explain this. So, Lord Carnarvon, that was his name.
Well done for remembering.
Thank you. He got infected and went, I feel a bit dizzy, fell over onto the light switch, turned off all the lights in Cairo. And the dog happened to be at the highest part of the house at that point, and then he's got epilepsy, and saw the lights flicker in Cairo. And
wow, so right,
and
can I just take you through your theory?
Although
then, right?
Epilepsy isn't normally that fatal.
What you're telling me is the main switch for Cairo's lights is in the Valley of the Kings.
Well, yeah, he has a lot of precious stuff in there, doesn't he?
Right. You're telling me that the dog has such incredible eyesight.
It's a very tall building as well.
That from England, he saw the lights going off in Cairo.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Fact check that.
Yeah, I may have to have a look into that. You may have something there. One of the warnings on the tomb said about death by wings. And when you think about the fact that it was a mosquito that bit him like that, I don't think there can be any sort of doubt now.
Don't they have things about locusts though a lot of the time?
They do. Anyway, a little bit later, tourists descended into there. One of them got a fever, died. 1923, 2 more visitors died, followed by 2 more. 1925, at that point, Carter and that were starting to get to the corpse of Tutankhamun because that's who they found in there.
Oh, so they've not even got that far yet.
Well, no, but
so hang on. So 9 years have passed.
Yeah,
and they've still not got to the.
Well, I think at that point it was like the body had amulets on it, like sort of jewelry and whatnot, and they were trying to get them off, and the only way they could get them off was to kind of hack the corpse up a bit, take it apart, which is pretty grim. 14 days after that, 2 people died that was involved in that. Within a month, another 4 people had died from that group of people that were involved in it. People started handing back artifacts that had them because they thought that everything was cursed, and anybody that held any of this stuff was likely to die, because I mean it was starting to rack up the amount of deaths by that time. Back in England, unbeknown to anybody, he'd obviously Lord Carnarvon, who'd obviously died by that time, but he'd obviously
Dead now.
got a load of artifacts and took them back at some point to England, because they'd done an inventory of stuff in that house, and the butler then said, yeah, but what about the Egyptian stuff? And no one knew about that apart from Lord Carnarvon and the butler. They were hidden away in his cabinet.
Maybe that's how the dog died as well.
Potentially, yeah. So there was there were 17 artifacts that were done. Well, it's just started to take over people's life. Carter, the original person that discovered it, he went mad, just completely bonkers. There were 5 more deaths apparently in that inner circle. There was a funeral for one of the people in that inner circle, and on the way there, the hearse struck a 8-year-old boy and killed him.
I bet he had an artifact as well, didn't he?
Unbelievable. A worker and because the Tutankhamun, it was like a roadshow almost that went round to other countries. People in the museums died. It just, people were dying in all strange different circumstances. I think even his daughter, not his daughter, it must have been his granddaughter, went and after visiting the exhibition, fell ill as well. I mean, she survived it and fell ill. And I think before you question all this, right,
Okay. You could sense it, couldn't you?
I've been looking into this, and it strikes me that if you interfere with the legend of Tutankhamun, things might happen to you. On my way home from work yesterday, I was driving down the main road, and as I got to a junction, a car came from a slip road. A white car whizzed straight across the lane next to me and right in front of me, meaning I had to slam on my brakes. Right? Luckily, I was okay and no one went into the back of me, but it was quite worrying. The number plate of that car, I can't remember the first 2 letters. It was a personalised number plate, but the last 3 letters, separated from the others, was Tut.
It's because you were going...
Now you tell me that's just a coincidence.
That's just a coincidence.
No way.
I also find it interesting how you could go something like, for example, someone that you could say there's a curse on anything by just looking at all the things that happened. Like, for example, I once met a guy at a club who must have been a witch because a number of years later got in a car crash, and also his nan that met him as well died after 80 years living.
Did this actually happen?
No, I'm just saying there's someone in the club. You could meet someone at some point. You could have... I once picked up a coin, and then later on in my life, I got hit by a bus.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
No, well, yeah. No,
you could piece anything and go, well, like, for example, that bloke...
How many more
That
examples?
bloke just got hit by a car,
yeah,
but many years ago, he went to a museum, and that had King Tutankhamun...
Yeah, well, there you go.
No, but the fact is, it's so many years later, and there's so much like they could be complete. It's like going, that one person that went to see King Tut, yeah, because I use that now because I'm his mate. 80 years later, he died of old age.
Yeah, but these were mysterious circumstances. These weren't run-of-the-mill things.
She got a cold.
What? Yeah, but all these people had a connection with the tomb of Tutankhamun. They were either related to someone who went in there, or they went in there, or they touched some of the stuff that was in there.
Was the game called like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or something like that?
What, everybody's related to?
They're not related, but how many times you can, like, how many people you have to go through to say that you're that attached to Kevin Bacon or something like that. That's kind of the point, is going, like, everyone is connected in some way. Anyway, should we move on?
Okay. Did you know Cleopatra?
I did know her, yeah. We were good friends at school.
Wasn't even Egyptian.
Oh my goodness.
She was Greek.
Oh my goodness.
See? You've learnt something new, haven't you?
Yeah.
Did you know they love ball games?
They love or loved?
Loved ball games.
Which
They
one's
probably still
Monopoly?
do. Well, apparently something quite similar to drafts or chess they used to play quite a lot. But they used to actually put those in with the pharaohs when they were in their tombs as well. So they had something to play on their journey.
They were quite open, gender-wise, they were quite open in the fact they had many women leaders and male leaders, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They did. That's very true.
I sense another Did You Know coming.
Did you know
Interesting.
there may or may not have been a mummy being transported on the Titanic?
May or may not have been. So
Yeah.
basically what you said is... sorry, but may or may not have been basically said, I don't know.
Well, no. My point
is there a
being-
mummy in your
and
car?
I've got to say now, after getting knocked last week about the validity of my facts, right, I am a little bit unsure of myself these days. So I was looking into something about, they were saying
There
that
may or may
was
not be a dead pigeon in the boot of my car.
Is there one in the boot of your car?
May or may not be.
No, but is there?
I don't know.
But my point being is that I read somewhere that there was a mummy being transported on the Titanic, which obviously is very unlucky. And what happened to the Titanic? It sunk, right? And then I thought I better cross-check that. And then I saw another...
Did you watch the film?
No, I don't want to watch the film. And as far as I know, they don't show a mummy in there. I read something else that said that might not be true.
Interesting. Well, thank you for doing your own fact checking. I appreciate it. But what's really funny is you've come in because there may or may not be. So really, that fact doesn't mean much.
Well, if there was, I think it's very significant. If it wasn't, then it's not of any significance whatsoever. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I feel like I need to hear something now, something that'll be interesting to do with
Even
ancient
more
Egypt.
facts about Egypt.
Oh, yes, please.
In song
that would be
form.
ideal.
Yeah?
How would we get something like that?
Oh, I've bound to have something in my back catalogue.
Interesting. You got a back catalogue.
Catalogue of ancient civilization songs. So yes, I have got one. So if you want to play it, might all those huge gaps in what we've been talking about. That it might plug a few of those
I'm so impressed that you've got a back catalogue of
ancient
civilization songs.
Yeah.
All right.
You never know when you're going to need one.
You never do, no.
Right. Play.
My mommy said if I'm a good kid, I might just get my own pyramid. But if I don't behave, if I mess around, there'll be no teeth, just a big bowl of sand. People see my riches and they would just gasp. If you don't like me, then feel free to kiss my ass. Do you look at pyramids and wonder what's beneath? One thing's for sure, we've all got very clean teeth. Oh, a cat. We like having a wash in a bath of sour milk and dressing ourselves in the finest golden silks. You know, being Egyptian is really just ace. I can run around town with makeup on my face. People see my riches and they would just gasp. If you don't like me, then feel free to kiss my ass. Do you look at pyramids and wonder what's beneath? One thing's for sure, we've all got very clean teeth. People see my riches and they would just gasp. If you don't like me, then feel free to kiss my ass. Do you look at pyramids and wonder what's beneath? One thing's for sure, we've all got very clean teeth. Oh, there's two cats now.
Game time.
Woohoo! What a refreshing song to have. Now I feel like I need something to play, because I heard that Egyptians really like board games,
They do like board games, yes.
and I feel like I want to play a game now.
Okay, well, we've got a game. It's a quiz. We're back to the quiz
That's fine.
format.
I'm okay with the quiz not being on a board.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So this quiz is all about Egypt, as you'd expect.
Never have guessed.
Right.
In fairness, there have been a couple of quizzes that have been very loosely based on the actual
Very
topic.
loosely based. I feel like a bucket list might have been one of those, when you had a bucket on your head and I just asked you a couple of list
What a
questions.
classic.
Yeah.
He's got a yellow...
A bucket on it.
No,
he's got an orange bucket on his head, when you had a yellow bucket on your
There's a
head.
yellow bucket.
Schoolboy
Spoilers.
era. Yeah. So this is all about Egypt. I have a sting for it. We're back on the normal sting. So if you'd like to play that sting,
Is this
that'd
from
be
your
great.
back catalogue of ancient
Stings.
civilization
Stings? Yes, it is.
It took a Pharaoh time putting this quiz together, but I think you'll appreciate I tried. I won't deny that the questions aren't the best, but you're a geezer, so you will be fine.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
What?
That was a lovely sting.
Oh, yeah, you always say that, don't you?
Not always. Sometimes I don't say it.
Okay. Well, I've got a quiz. There's 10 questions, right? It's multiple choice.
You're getting better with these questions, as in like having a round number and a number that means something. There was a period where you kept just coming up with, there's 7 questions in this quiz, because I stopped at number 7 or something like that.
Well, some of them was, I had a 12 in the year one.
Yeah,
I had
makes sense.
13 in the...
Although, I seem to remember the year one, you had 12, and then the 12th question had lots of sub-questions.
Oh, yeah, had about 27, supplementary questions.
13
Yeah,
in the superstitions one.
That is very, very true, yes. So we have a 10 question based quiz. It is, as always, multiple choice. Afterwards, we'll see what your scoring is, and you'll either... I've been tying in the hieroglyphics to this. So you'll either score... Let me have a look at these now, and I'll show them to you. If you've got a poor rating...
You've prepped.
You'll get this. That actually means poor in hieroglyphics, and
So it's
that's
like a green door
to Lassu's mouth, right?
Yep. Or
So-
are they earrings?
No, that's what they are.
Two letters.
Yeah, they are indeed.
Can I describe them?
Okay. Or you might do good in this quiz.
Which is a trapeze with a hole in it, or stage curtains, 2 lassos or earrings, and some person trying to shake your hand with very long fingers.
Well, the actual correct term for it is pot stroke oven, 2 lassos, big red hand. And that is if you are good, but I mean, if you're excellent,
Oh, there's another one.
there is. If
I
you
like the
do-
way you've written what they are on the back.
If you do excellent,
If I do excellent, it's a green knife with a bowl above 2 spoons, a really disproportionate red straw, another knife, 2 lions on top of each other, another green knife, a blue zigzag line over the rising sun of red.
well, obviously I've studied hieroglyphics, and what it actually means is it's
It means excellent.
fern, 2 spoons,
it's
straw,
spoons.
cup, fern, 2 more ferns, and a couple of lions, half a tomato, and wavy line.
Oh, they're ferns, they're not knives.
Yes,
They look like green knives.
That's a very different thing. Right, so you'll also, as we go through there, I'll give you the particular different options.
I didn't
Okay.
realise I was... Oh, options.
Okay.
Didn't realise I become fluent in hieroglyphics today.
I've spent so much time on that, I haven't really studied Egypt at all. Okay, question 1. Let's go straight
Probably
into
could
this.
tell.
Well, we're not. King Tut, or Tutankhamun, was allegedly killed by what? Was he killed by... This is going to get confusing.
Sorry, I'm already confused.
Or vulture, or pigeon in a onesie, right? Was he killed by... No, I'm going to do A, Nile crocodile while out boating. Was he killed by B, a hippopotamus while out hunting? Or was he killed by C, a jealous husband while out canoodling?
Wow. See, we're back to the normal quiz.
Yeah.
In the fact that one of those is an obvious no.
Okay.
I don't think it's the canoodling one, Dad.
You're hearing rustling there. So
I can hear the rustling.
So you're
I
going to
reckon
count out
it's
C or
it's
bendy
also
straw.
how he wants to be perceived. Oh, are they the letters?
So they're the hieroglyphics for the letters.
So A is
So
a big
C
bird.
is bendy straw. A is a pigeon in a onesie.
And a B is big red foot.
B is severed sunburnt leg.
All right. With very pale toenails. So I reckon it's going to be the hippopotamus one. B, the severed sunburnt leg.
And you're absolutely right. Apparently, what they've looked at the body, they've X-rayed the body, and there's a big hippo-shaped hole in right in the middle. No, and some of the because they used to.
I imagine
hunt,
it was like hungry hippos.
They used to hunt hippopotamuses or hippopotami. And while he was out hunting, it looked like he had some injuries, and they reckon that was from hippopotamus.
I feel like it should be hippopotamuses.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Question 2. What did Egyptians hang round their neck to prevent let's start that again. What did Egyptians hang round their neck to prevent bed wetting?
Ooh.
Was it A, a bag of mouse bones? Was it B, a bag of crisps? Or was it C, a bag of sand?
I feel like B is a bit too modern.
Right? So you're ruling out
Crisps.
severed red sunburnt leg.
Yep. So it's a bag of sand and a bag of mouse bones, wasn't it?
Yep, they're the other two options if you're going to rule out the crisps.
A bag of sand's going to be really heavy. They were quite technologically advanced in a sense, in the fact that they did things for certain reasons and stuff. But I'm going to go with the mouse bones.
You're correct.
Oh, wow.
Pigeon in a onesie. It was a bag of mouse bones.
Of course. I mean, that's what I do, to be fair.
Do you?
Yeah. Maui catches the mice for me, and then I
And then
remove their bones.
Right, lovely.
Do you want to say that with me there?
No. Question 3. Who built the pyramids? Was it A, slaves? Was it B, local builders? Or was it C, aliens?
No, none of the above. It's believed most likely slaves, but you can't rule out any of them, really. I'm going to go with slaves.
That is incorrect. It, for some reason, and I think something to do with the Bible as well, and the way it was detailed in the Bible. But it was said that it was slaves that had done it. It wasn't slaves at all that built the pyramids. It was builders that built the pyramids. They brought people in, they got paid, and they weren't slaves at all.
Guaranteed.
That's fact. Yeah.
Where did you get that fact?
Well, from people with little glasses on. And,
right, okay.
And PhDs.
Pretty huge. Never mind.
Oh my goodness. Question 3, which is interesting because I'd already asked question 3.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Which then tells
Does this
me
mean we've got
I
11
may have
questions?
11 questions.
Classic.
Oh, no. How embarrassing. Question 3A.
Better than having 9 questions
What
and
did
thinking of 10.
the noses... Why did the noses get broken off many statues in Egypt, including the Sphinx?
Many statues. I didn't know it was more than just one.
Loads. Was it A, because one of the pharaohs who had a particularly small nose for an Egyptian did not want to be reminded of it? Was it B, nobody knows? Or was
You had
it
to write that in, didn't
C,
you?
because the Egyptian believed the statues carry spirits, so if they got rid of the nose, it couldn't breathe and would die?
Oh, they genuinely, the nobody knows joke is one of these things that could genuinely be true, because it's one of those things that we actually don't know.
So is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I'm going to go with nobody knows.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
It was because they believed if you defaced a statue, and it was, if they defaced the eyes, they wouldn't be able to see. If they defaced the nose, they wouldn't be able to breathe, and they would die. They still have a mouth, but I'm not quite sure what that was all
Little
about.
known fact,
apparently, I did.
ancient Egyptians could only breathe through the nose.
I knew that. Question 4. What did Egyptian cat owners do when their pet died? Did they A, shave off their eyebrows? That's their own eyebrows,
Right,
not
I was
the
going to
cat's.
say, because where does a cat's eyebrows start and finish?
Exactly. Did they B, stuff their cat, attach it to a wheeled cart and pull it around? Or did they C, tattoo a crude image of said cat on their unmentionables?
This one is a bit tough. Not C. Definitely not C.
Not the tattoo? Right,
No.
okay.
I don't think so. On their unmentionables. What was A again?
A was shave off their own eyebrows.
I don't really get what much they could do. I guess they could draw them on, which I think... I'm going to go with B in the fact that they'd stuff their cat and then carry it around on a wagon.
You're mad. No, they wouldn't do that. Why would they do
I
that?
don't
No,
know.
they shaved off their eyebrows.
Oh, why would they do that?
I don't know. I can't remember. But they did. Question 5. Hatshepsut was a pharaoh in Egyptian times. She was also a woman. What did she do to gain respect from men and to appease the gods? Did she A, speak in a deep voice? Did she B, swear like a docker? Or did she C, wear a false beard?
C, wear a false beard.
She did wear a false beard, apparently, yeah. And was depicted in pictures and that with a beard, even though she was a woman and didn't have a beard.
Well, not all women don't have beards.
Yes, but she did.
Oh, do have beards?
I wasn't saying that no women have beards. I was saying that particular woman didn't have a beard, so she used to wear a false beard.
As you do.
Right. Right.
Nice song, by the way.
Thank you. Which of these is an Egyptian god? A, game. B, set. Or C, match.
Game, set, match.
Yep.
Is or isn't?
Which of these is an Egyptian god?
Sorry, I still
Game.
didn't understand. Is or isn't?
Which of these is an Egyptian god?
So when you said is and isn't,
Game, set, or match?
is I'm gonna go for set.
Well done, it is Set, god of violence, chaos, and strength. Very well done.
Thank you.
Question whatever, because I've lost track. The Egyptians worshipped many gods, each one with a specific trait. But what was the god Babi said to have? Did he have a face with 1,000 eyes which could see into your soul? Did he have a mighty phallus that was used as a mast on a ferry which carried your souls? Or did he have 200-foot arms that could envelop the whole Egyptian population, keeping them safe?
Repeat again.
B, a mighty phallus that was used as a mast on a ferry which carried souls.
Master. Oh,
Which one?
did we ever go into how the gods were made?
No.
Google it.
Google it. Google the very first, the ancient Egyptians, when they become Egyptians, what they believed, how they believed they come to be.
How the
they
god of
believed-
gods
God
made
of
the other
gods
gods.
made the other gods. Look it up. We can't talk
We
about
can't
it
talk
on
about
here.
this podcast.
So which one is it going to be? 1,000 eyes, mighty phallus, or 200-foot arms?
200-foot arms.
It's a mighty phallus.
It was a mighty phallus.
It was. Okay.
Ah, unbelievable,
Question
Jeff.
7.
You've gone back to numbers, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Sheshmu was a lesser god of execution, slaughter, blood, and what other thing? Sheshmu was a lesser god of execution, slaughter, blood, and A, wine, B, women, C, song.
So that was a lot of things that...
He was a god of execution, slaughter, blood, and
So there's a lot of negatives there.
wine, women, or song.
So you got to think about how people... It's almost like being tortured. I would assume they think wine, fantastic. All of them are fantastic. All of them are what people would do on a night out.
Yep.
I'm going to go they'll be enticed by a woman, and that would be...
Unfortunately, it's wine. He was the... weirdly, he was the god of execution, slaughter, blood, and wine. You got to have, got to relax while you're doing all them sort of things. It's quite intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple more then. Question
No one else wants to be the
9
god
or
of wine.
10. Which of these is an Egyptian god? We're back to that again. A, dopey. B, sneezy. Or C, happy.
Oh my goodness. So hang on. I expected one of those to be one that isn't one of the seven dwarfs from the Disney tale.
Not allowed to call them dwarfs anymore. They're little people.
There's been a discussion
Yeah, I know
about
there is,
Peter Dinklage. Anyway,
Which of these?
happy, sneezy, or dopey?
Dopey, sneezy, or happy?
I reckon it's dopey, and it's not quite spelt the same.
Well, you're half right. It's happy, and that isn't spelt the same.
Okay.
Hapi, and he's the god of Nile silt. He's a fertility god. Right. And here's your last question. Question 11. If you think it's 11. When visiting Egypt as a tourist, what item of clothing should you avoid wearing if you don't want to upset the locals? Is it A, an Arsenal shirt? Is it B,
Always.
Arsenal shorts? Or is it
Always.
C, Arsenal socks?
Always. I think it's one of these things that it's not necessarily down to which shirt it is or which club it is. It's more about what item of clothing it is. I'm trying to think about what you see people wear. They often wear sandals, but no socks. I feel like this is very much generalising. I think they might not be able to show their knees, so maybe shorts?
That is correct. Although people do wear shorts, it very much is a place where you need to cover up. Even though it's incredibly hot, you're asked to cover up. They would prefer you to cover up, so shorts would be
Yeah, a lot of
bit
Arabian
no-no.
countries kind of do that, don't they?
So that's the end of my little quiz. And by my reckoning, and counting up roughly what you've done, I think you've probably achieved a pot/oven 2 lassos big red hand rating.
Excellent.
Which, in other words, is good.
Good. Not
Yes.
great.
Not great, not excellent, but not poor.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing about it.
Amazing. I feel like I've learnt something.
Do you?
No.
No.
Yes, I
You've
do.
learnt there
I have
may-
learnt stuff.
What have you learnt? You've learnt there may or may not have been a mummy on the Titanic.
Yeah, I've learnt that I can call him King Tut because we're friends now.
All right. And really, not a lot else, eh? I had such intentions of talking about Egypt in a very informed manner, and then I get on these podcasts and it just seems to disintegrate.
I think we've got to accept that we're never going to talk about something in an informed manner.
Oh, right, okay, just that. We have to accept that.
We have to accept that we are not an educational podcast. We're going to give people
I
facts
thought
that...
this was being put through for people's GCSEs. No?
No,
Okay.
just
right.
the E's section.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we're not going to be...
So I shouldn't worry about it.
We
That's
shouldn't
what you're
worry
telling me.
about people taking loads of information away from this, because I think what they're really going to do is they're going to take some information that we share, they're going to look it up and go, oh, that was wrong.
That was wrong. Yeah, and then they're right in and say, that was questionable. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Questionable facts.
Questionable facts.
That's our classic though. We always provide. We guarantee to provide questionable facts.
Yes. Okay, so that is the end of my quiz. That is the end of the podcast. Unless you've got anything else that you need to cover.
Nope.
No.
Right.
So,
Just before we go though,
Yeah.
I just want to briefly mention we haven't got anything else we need to cover because we haven't had any messages. But you can leave a message on our website, fatherandsundays.com. If you go to the contact us page, then you can also leave a message on there. You can also do that on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just by leaving a comment or a message or something like that. But our website, fatherandsundays.com, I'll mention it again, is also a great place because you can get all our episodes on there. You've got also links to all the different places you can get our episodes as well. And also, it's nice.
okay. That sounds great.
Our podcast is available on whatever your chosen platform is, really.
Okay, but I'm glad you said that.
Leave a
I was
review.
just about to.
You can leave
Yes.
a review on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. No one does, but you can.
I've left one.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Have
I
you?
might have to look that. No, I haven't actually yet. I might go on there and start doing it. Very disappointing. This is the worst one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that sort of thing. Yeah, just
Yeah.
to pump us up a little bit more.
All right.
Okay, then.
What happened to your voice there?
I don't know.
Okay then.
After a certain time, that's what happens.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're normally in the bath by this point, so I imagine that.
Yes, so that's what I usually talk like. It's almost like Popeye because I make it on Popeye.
Because you're starting to dry out, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a husk.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all I've got to say is bye-bye for now. See you next week.
All right.